guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're at Games of War, and as promised, Graham has returned with the Ultramarines. It's fantastic to have them back, and he's got some reinforcements. He did start Emperor's Children, but he's decided he wants to buff the Ultramarines, and good for him, because I think this is going to be a very interesting matchup indeed. So, if you haven't guessed already, he's facing up against the Tyranids, and there is a swarm coming for the Ultramarines. So today's mission is Purge the Alien, Dawn of War. Nice and simple, straight up slugfest, kill points. So, what have I got on my list? Well, I've got the Sky Tyrant formation, he's got the Reaper of Obliter Axe, the Imago Factor Heavy Venom Cannon. The Sky Tyrant here will be my Warlord, and his Warlord trait is +1 victory point for every character killed in a challenge. We've got the Dimakaran. I'm running dual combined arms attachments. We've got the Malanthrope, 2 units of 10 Gaunts with Furious Charge, Carnifex with Crushing Claws and Devourers, 2 Zoanthropes and a Neurothrope, Swarmy with a single Tyrant Guard. We've got another Venom Thrope, a Flyrant, 2 Hive Guard, Carnifex with Claws and Devourers, the standard Tervigon, another Venom Thrope, and 2 units of 10 Gaunts. Let's have a quick look at Graham's forces. Here we go, Graham's Ultramarines. We've got Manius Calgar heading up the forces, the Lord of War. His Warlord trait is to allow 1 unit to class as rending within 12 inches. So that's going to be useful on them bolters against that 3-up armour of most of the Nids. We've got Captain Sicarius and 2 units of Tactical Marines. This unit here has a Grav Gun and a Heavy Bolter, and this unit over here, the Sergeant, has a Plasma Pistol Power Sword, a Melter Gun, Missile Launcher. We've got a squadron of 2 Dreads, Storm Bolter and Las Cannons. Coming across, we've got a single Tech Marine to allow him to bring the Sikaran. So that Sikaran is going to be nasty, ignoring Jink. It needs to go down before my Hive Crone comes on. Coming across here, we've also got a unit of 2 Vindicators, and in reserve he's got quite a bit. He's got Heresy in its ultimate form, the Emperor's Children Fire Raptor, teaming up with Ultramarines. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful model though, even if it is painted purple. We've then got the Storm Wing formation, is it, Graham?
Yes.
With 2 Storm Talons, one with Heavy Bolters and Assault Cannon, one with Las Cannon, Assault Cannon. The Storm Raven with Hurricane Bolters, Las and Melter. And riding in that Storm Raven, we've got an Ironclad Dread with Hurricane Bolters and Seismic Hammer. We've got a squadron of Terminators there, 2 with Lightning Claws, 3 with Thunder Hammers. So currently, I'm going first. Yep. Quick note from our sponsor, Codex Phil. Graham, would you like to seize the initiative?
I would, yes.
Want to re-roll that?
Oh, he doesn't.
Nope. So that looks as though it's Tyranids turn 1. Right, turn 1, everything is moving forward. We've put some of the gargoyles on the top of the trees, but they are actually within the trees. Basically everything is swarming forward. The Hormigans got, both squads got a 5-inch move. The Carnifex, the Malanthrope, the Dimmer, everything is pushing forward. This Hive Tyrant I've kept on the ground for the moment. There's no point putting him in the air when he's facing off against the Sikaran, and at least here he's going to at least get 3-up cover from the trees and the Venom Thrope. These Gaunts also pushing forward as well. We need to birth the Tervigon, and then we're going to move on to the Psychic phase though, and I have 8 base dice to Graham's none. So let's see what we can do in the Psychic phase. Right, so in the Psychic phase, the Zoanthropes are out of range to do anything with Warp Lance or Blast. Their other power was Catalyst, so I've cast that on the Dimakaran here. This Hive Tyrant, the Swarmlord, sorry, has Paroxysm, Psychic Scream and Onslaught, so he has onslaughted this Carnifex. This Hive Tyrant has Paroxysm and Onslaught, but unfortunately Paroxysm out of range of that Sikaran still. So he has tried to cast Onslaught on that Carnifex, but failed. Meanwhile, the Tervigon's power is Catalyst, so she's cast that on the Hive Tyrant. She did spawn 9 Gaunts, and she didn't double out. So it's going to be a turn of running. I think there's going to be very minimal shooting indeed, but hopefully we can get up near Graham's deployment zone. Right, so because this guy's wings are ridiculously big, we placed him sideways for the moment, but the gargoyles and his unit got a 3-inch run, so they are swarming forward. These Hormigans got a 6-inch with bound and leap. These ones got an 8. And it looks as though even the Malanthrope and the Carnifex, the Swarmlord unfortunately only got a 2, and the Zoanthropes just getting a 1-inch run. Everything else, again, pushing forward, really good run moves, apart from I haven't ran the Hive Tyrant. The plan is get to them 2 tactical squads as fast as possible before Graham's air reinforcements come in. The Dimakaran and the Hive Tyrant heading towards them, or potentially could veer off towards those Vindicators there. The only issue I've got is that Sakaran over that side. I've got nothing there to be able to deal with it other than this Hive Tyrant and a Carnifex, which is way too far away from them. So that is it for Tyranids turn 1. Let's move on to Ultramarines turn 1. So in good old Ultramarine fashion, Graham is forming a gun line. The Marines are going to take centre and start mowing down the gaunts as they head forward. Meanwhile, the Dreadnoughts are looking across this way. They can see the Dimakaran through the trees, and the Vindicators, as expected, have pulled back. He's probably going to be looking to take out a lot of those gargoyles, hopefully. So that was it. Very quick movement phase for Graham there. Let's move on to the shooting phase though. Right, so in the shooting phase, Graham has elected to use his tactical doctrine. The Sakaran pumped everything he had into the Hive Tyrant. The Hive Tyrant getting 3 of cover due at the trees and the Venomthrope, and he had feel no pain, and he took a single wound to that accelerator auto cannon. In the centre, one of the Gaunt squads has been thinned out due to Sakaris, and this tactical squad here pumping the bolt guns in as they come in. The Shrouded saving a couple of them. Meanwhile, Marnius and this tactical squad managed to thin out the gargoyles on this side, as well as the Dreadnoughts and the gargoyles on this flank. We lost quite a number of them to the shells hurled over the trees, smashing the trees apart from the Vindicators here. So Graham's managed to thin the horde out quite a bit and inflict a wound on the Hive Tyrant, but how fast can the Tyranid swarm move forward? Calgar is taking point. He's seen the Swarmlord coming straight for him. Is he going to make a stand? Is that classic face-off going to happen? We can only hope. So the Tervagon is herding all of her termagants across this side. She spawned another 8 and still not doubled out. Little does she know though that the rear armor 12 on the Sakaran isn't going anywhere. So the Gaunts probably going to have to veer off and go after the tactical Marines. However, in the centre, everything is pushing forward. The Gaunts is herding towards this tactical squad. The Carnifex is starting to make the way across to this way. Meanwhile, in the centre, the Sky Tyrant Warlord has sighted Calgar as he jumped up onto the centre of the Sky Shield on the firebase, and he's coming in for a challenge. The Swarmlord there just holding back for the moment, but he is going to be charging in as well. The Dimakaran unfortunately doesn't have too much to go. It's going to be a big swamp in the centre, so I think that next turn he's going to veer off and probably take these guys out, possibly go for the Dreadnoughts. Who knows? The Hive Crone did come on. Unfortunately, I didn't want it on yet, so I've kept it over this side to try and bait Graham away from the rest of the horde and get a couple of shots in, maybe do a whole point or two of damage with the missiles on here. If the Hive Crone isn't cut down next turn, then hopefully she'll fly off the board and can potentially vector strike one of Graham's flyers or the Vindicators here. So exciting stuff. There's going to be a massive clash in the centre here. Clash of warlords. Let's move on to the psychic phase. The psychic phase, I'm a moron and forgot about this Hive Tyrant, so I actually have base 10 dice. We just rolled up his powers there, and he does have the horror and psychic scream, but I was you know, being a friendly game, I've said to Graham I'm not going to use psychic scream there for this turn. So basically, Dimakaran has catalyst on him from the Zoanthropes. The Zoanthropes perilled though and took a single wound on that side. We tried to cast Onslaught from the Swarmlord on this Carnifex but failed. We managed to get Paroxysm off on Manius's unit for -1 weapon and ballistic skill. This Hive Tyrant onslaughted this Carnifex, and the Turbogon managed to get Catalyst off on this Hive Tyrant as well. So hopefully when Grimm's Air Force arrives, the big things are going to have Feel No Pain, can do some wounds and damage hopefully. So that is it. Let's move on to shooting phase. It's going to be very, very quick as they don't have much shooting at all. So shooting has been incredibly uneventful. The Hive Crone swooping in across the trees, got a single hit with the hairwire missiles on the Vindicators and rolled a 1. Fantastic, eh? Dimakaran got a 3-inch run forward, and the Hive Guard took aim at the Dreadnoughts. They don't need line of sight, so they just took straight through the firebase and only got a single hit but failed to do anything at all. Meanwhile, fire from the Hive Tyrant and the Carnifex that had Onslaught managed to bring down 2 of the Tactical Marines here. Everything else is pretty much ran. The Zoanthropes have ran. All of the Gaunts getting 5- and 6-inch run moves. Yet when they go over here, can't do anything at all. What I've done is I pulled the Gaunts in front of the Carnifex, and obviously the Venom Throw up there is going to give him that all-important 3-up cover save. Indeed. So, not too good for shooting, but this army is very, very focused towards combat. So, we're going to be charging some Gaunts in at these guys, and charging some Gaunts in at them, probably the Hive Tyrant as well. So yeah, we're in the middle of the assault phase, and this Hive Tyrant and the Gargoyles have charged in along with the Hormiguns at Manius. He's issued a challenge, and Manius has stepped up and accepted. So I'm chucking 7 attacks on the charge using Yamago factor for +1 attack. Obviously the Scythe and Talons route with Obliterax giving me an extra 1, +1 for charging. And even with preferred enemy from the Swarmlord, that was my roll to hit after re-rolling those ones. Really? So I've got 1 hit because Manius is down to weapon skill 5. Wow, what an assault phase. So with all of those attacks from the Hive Tyrant, I only hit once, wounded once, and Graham passed his in-run. Meanwhile, with 5 attacks from Calgar, he pummeled that Hive Tyrant into the ground, ripping his head off, stamping all over it. So the Hive Tyrant has been brought down, scoring Graham Slayer, the Warlord. Doesn't score the victory points for destroying the unit though. Due to this formation, he would score 3 once all of the Gargoyles are down. I did lose a Gargoyle or 2 to Overwatch. We managed to cut down a single Marine, and I lost a single Gaunt. So although we lost combat, we are fearless due to the Synapse being right here. So I think, hopefully, we should be able to tie these Gargoyles up, tie the Marines up, just enough in order to get the Swarmlord in there and duke it out with Calgar. Meanwhile, down here, Hive Tyrant charged in, cut down 4 Marines, 3, and the Gaunts cut down another 1. Sicarius went for Sicarius went for a coup de grace attack on the Hive Tyrant, and I was sweating. Unfortunately though, he missed, Graham rolling a 2. He then failed his leadership and ran. The Hive Tyrant consolidating 6 inches just onto the other side of him, and the Gaunts hanging in the centre. So that was it for the Tyranids assault phase. Not as many charges as I would have liked, not as much damage done as I would have liked, but hopefully we can keep these tied up in the centre. However, Graham's reserves are probably going to be coming on, and I'm sweating. So the only reserves that have turned up is the rescued Fire Raptor that the Tech Marine managed to withhold from the Emperor's Children. Combat's in the centre. Can Manius punch his way out of those? We'll have to see. But down here, the Dreadnoughts, Sicarius, and the Sakaran. I think putting this Hive Tyrant here was a very bad move indeed. But it's drawn a lot of Graham's firepower away from the rest of the force. He's probably not going to be there, but never mind. Right, so shooting here is very uneventful for Graham. The Dreadnought, Sicarius and the Sakaran all pumped everything into the Hive Tyrant, bringing him down to just 2 wounds. The Hammer of Wrath from the Dreadnoughts when they charged in did another one, and Sicarius managed to kill the Hive Tyrant, bringing the second Hive Tyrant down. Obviously consolidating out. The Fire Raptor, meanwhile, that Mauler Ball Cannon on the front, bringing the Swarm Lord's Tyrant Guard down. The Auto Cannon doing a single wound on this Carnifex, and the Auto Cannon on that side not doing any damage to the Demakaran. The Demakaran also took fire from the Vindicators in the background. Unfortunately, Graham rolled a 1 to wound against that. In combat, Marnius and the Marines managed to bring down 3 Gargoyles, and despite us getting a couple of wounds back, no casualties on the Marine side at all. So, not too eventful for the Ultramarines, but they are still tied up. The Malanthrope and the Swarm Lord are going to be charging into this combat here. I don't know where to go with the Demakaran. Do I head over and get the Vindicators? I don't know, but I know that the Carnifex is heading for that Sakaran. So it looks as though things are heating up between the Tyranids and the Ultramarines. The Ultramarines currently on 2 points as it stands for Slay the Warlord and killing the single Hive Tyrant so far. So the Malanthrope and the Swarm Lord are heading into this combat. Hopefully we can start grant that 12-inch preferred enemy bubble, and the Malanthrope will finally do what he's made to do. He never seems to do what he's supposed to in my games. The Demakaran, not doing what he's supposed to be doing, is going to be heading this way to try and take out the Vindicators. Unfortunately, that pincer on his tail not going to be giving him that feel no pain 4+. I think the Swarm Lord can hopefully handle Marnius in the centre. The Hive Crone flew off the table doing a vector strike to the Vindicator there and managing to blow off one of the cannons. So hopefully the Demakaran can do a bit more damage there. Meanwhile, at this side, the Gaunts are all flanking forward. Hopefully we'll swing back around this way, maybe take out the Tech Marine and onto Sicarius even. Both Carnifex pushing forward, as are the Hive Guard. Hopefully this Carnifex can take out the Sakaran on that side, scoring us our first victory point hopefully. And in combat, hopefully down here, we can get rid of these tactical Marines as well. Right, so in the psychic phase we didn't have too much left unfortunately, but the Zoanthropes have cast Catalyst on Demakaran. He's going to try and take out those Vindicators. We managed to paroxysm Marnius's unit for -2 weapon skill, so the Gaunts and Gargoyles are going to be hitting back on 3s. Meanwhile, we managed to get Feel No Pain Catalyst off on this Carnifex here from the Turbogon. Shooting wise, the lead Carnifex there managed to get a single glance on the side armour of the Sakaran, and this guy took a couple of pot shots across at Sicarius, not doing any damage unfortunately. Graham passing 3 2-up armour saves. We've then got the Hive Guard here, managed to pop through and get 2 glances and a pen, get 3 hits on the Dreadnought closest to this side. So all important, whittling that unit down. So the Swarm Lord has charged in and he's roared at Marnius. Marnius stepping up and accepting the challenge. Despite having preferred enemy on himself, he managed to get 4 wounds through on Calgar. Graham passing 3 of those 4 wounds. However, due to him being paroxysmed and down to weapon skill 4, the Swarm Lord being weapon skill 9, Graham was hitting back on 5s, but unfortunately didn't hit at all. Meanwhile, down here, all of the attacks from the Gaunts, the Gargoyles, and the Malanthrope only brought a single Marine down. Graham making almost all of his armor saves, and I lost 3 Gaunts. So not too shabby, but hoping that we could have done a bit more. Meanwhile, at this side, the Hammer of Wrath alone from the Carnifex, I got 3, managed to take out the Sakaran, getting a glance and a pen. So the Sakaran is down, scoring us our first victory point. down here, the Demakaran, we double checked it, and as far as we can see, he would still get rampage due to being outnumbered. Managed to actually get 2 glances and 3 pens, just enough to destroy the unit, scoring as our 2nd victory point. So as it stands at the end of Tyranids turn 3, the score is 2-2. But Grim, does your Stormwing formation arrive going into Ultramarines turn 3? It does. I am going to feel the hurt now, I think. Right, so just enough from the end of the Tyranids turn there. The Hormigans charged in and managed to cut down the Marine and inflict a single wound on Sicarius. He did, however, swing back and unfortunately only brought 3 of the Gaunts to the ground. Fortunately, he is locked up in combat due to the Swarm Lord being there. Grim Stormwing, as you saw, did come in. The Storm Raven flying straight over the top of the battle, dropping the Dreadnought and dropping the Terminators as well. It looks as though this Storm Talon is coming this way to potentially take out the Tervigon maybe, or the Carnifex. I think Grim wants to take out the Tervigon and probably kill as many of them Gaunts as he can before they start sweeping this way. The other Storm Talon coming on, probably looking to start eating into the Zoanthropes, I think, down here. So I think Grim is going to be putting out a lot of firepower this turn. He's still got the Fire Raptor to move, I think, though. Right, so in the shooting phase, the Dreadnought took aim at the Demakaran and unfortunately failed to wound him. Passidy's feel no pain save. The Storm Talon down here managed to take out a single Zoanthrope at the front, doing 2 wounds between the Assault Cannon and those Heavy Bolters. The Hurricane Bolters on the Ironclad went for the Hive Guard, but unfortunately didn't inflict any wounds. I lost 2 Gaunts here to the Hurricane Bolter on the Storm Raven. The Storm Raven's las cannon shooting at the Tervigon, and the Storm Talon at that side as well, going for the Tervigon but doing no wounds due to the Venom Throat being there. However, Graham then elected to unload his missiles and the Mauler Bolt Cannon at the Venom Throat, cutting it down. The Carnifex at the back taking fire in his back. The auto cannons must have been able to see a weak spot. However, this one here took no damage at all. Sicarian, in the meanwhile, is tied up in combat, and the Terminators have ran, potentially to start eating into this combat. I think Graham wants to try and get this tactical squad out. So it's on to assault, and there's going to be a lot of damage dished out here, I think. Right, to combat. Sicarius down there, cut the lone Gaunt down, scoring Graham an extra victory point, putting him at 4 to my 3. Meanwhile, this combat here between Marneus and the Swarm Lord is ongoing. Marneus still down on weapon skill 4 due to paroxysm. I managed to get 2 wounds through. Graham passed 3 of them 4-pin runs. In combats down here, we lost 2 of the Gaunts, and again inflicted no damage to the Marines despite getting several wounds in still. We really need to get out of this combat. It's not looking good at all down there. That was it for the combats then. So like I said, Graham scores an extra victory point, putting him at 4 to my 3. So it's going into Tyranids turn 4. This is in hover mode, and my Hive Crone is coming back. So the Carnifex are going to go for that, and Hive Crone is going to take a couple of shots at the Storm Raven, I think. Right, so we did have a plan. It hasn't gone quite according to plan yet. The Hive Crone came hurtling in, and Vector struck for 2, but unfortunately rolled a 1 and a 3 against the Storm Raven, so no damage was done there. All of the Gaunts are spread out. The Tervigon, I didn't realise I only had 1 Gaunt left, and unfortunately she doubled out on 8, but I can only place the 1. Not bad though, that's 30 Gaunts spawned over 3 turns. It would have been 37 had I had the models. So these Gaunts here are going to be going, hopefully, into the Tech Marine. The Carnifex there is going to be going for that Dreadnought. He can just reach his rear armour if the Hive Guard don't take him out. So the Hive Guard are going to be going for him, or the Carnifex, and the Gaunts will hopefully tie up that Tech Marine. This Carnifex here will be charging into the Fire Raptor, hopefully between the shots, the Hammer of Wrath and those crushing claws, we should be able to do quite a lot of damage, hopefully. In the psychic phase, down here, we managed to cast Paroxysm from the Swarm Lord onto the Dreadnought, dropping him to Weapon and Ballistic Skill 3. The Zone Throbes cast Feel No Pain on the Gargoyles, and themselves. I haven't done it with the Demakaran because I'm hoping to charge in at either the Terminators or Sicarius and get that 4+ Feel No Pain from taking something out there. I think I might go for the Terminators if we can get him base to base. So, exciting stuff. I'm hoping to be able to take out 2 or 3 things in the assault phase. I elected not to cast Paroxysm on Calgar due to me swinging beforehand anyway, so I'm hoping he wouldn't need to swing back with him being left on 1 wound. So this is a nice, big, tasty mess down here. Hopefully we can do some damage though. Now, what a turn of firepower for the Tyranids indeed. We have made our mark indeed. So, the stinging salvo from the Turvagon, I was shooting it into the air at the Storm Talon and I got 2 hits, Grimlock and not a Jink, and I rolled a double 6 with those 2 hits, bringing the Storm Talon out of the sky and scattering backwards. The Termagants here shot into the Tech Marine, doing no damage, and both squads of Termagants here shooting into the Terminators again, no damage at all. However, this Carnifex needing 6s to glance on the Fire Raptor here, Grimlock and not a Jink, due to me needing 6s and only glancing, and it's on 1 hull point. I got 3 glances. There is me roll. All 6 hit due to being twin linked, and I rolled a triple 6. Did not expect that whatsoever. So, as a result of that, the Hive Guard and the Carnifex there shot into the Dreadnought, bringing that second Dreadnought crashing to the ground. So not a bad shooting phase at all. The Hive Crow, meanwhile, the single missile, despite getting a hit on the Storm Raven, again rolled a 1. So he's got 1 missile left, and hopefully we can swing and vector strike something next turn. That was it for shooting, but now we've got this mass combat to resolve down here. Right, so in combat, we've managed to tie up that Tech Marine there. I think the Carnifex will be able to go after him next turn. The fact that they've gone to there, pinning him where he is, though, swarming round. Carnifex with the Crushing Claws managed to bring the Fire Raptor down on this side. And the Demakaran, despite having fleet, failed an 8-inch charge to the Terminators. That's not what I wanted, because he doesn't have Feel No Pain on him. I'm hoping, though, that Graham doesn't go after him straight away first. We'll have to see what happens. Meanwhile, we've started this mess of a combat here. The Swarm Lord granted third enemy on himself and getting 5 wounds on Calgar. He's got 1 wound left. Graham, do you want to start rolling? First one. Every time he's been passing his saves until the last 1 or 2 rolls. So that is Calgar brought down, scoring me another victory point. That actually now puts me at 6 due to killing the Fire Raptor and Storm Talon. 7 for killing Calgar, and then 1 for killing Calgar plus 1 for Slay the Warlord. Graham is actually on 5 as he killed the Tyrant Guard as well. So Graham, that does mean that unfortunately 4 of the Marines are cut down as well. So we'll then work out the rest of this combat. So with that, the Bone Sabers going through Calgar's heart, the Swarm Lord jumps down and cuts down 4 of the Marines with him. The Marines still holding strong though, trying to take down the Lonely Gaunt, but unfortunately not doing any wounds to it. The Gaunt still clawing at the armors of the Marines there as well. So Grim did lose combat, but unfortunately the Swarm Lord caught them and kept them where they are. So that does score me Slay the Warlord, plus an extra point for killing Calgar, brings me up to 7 to Graham's 5. However, there's a lot of stuff now in the open. There's a lot of stuff wounded. There's a single Gaunt there, and he's got all these Gaunt squads. The Venom Thrope. This guy is on 2 wounds, and he's got some Terminators here. Can he kill something with the Terminators? Is he going to go after the Demakaran? Who knows? But let's find out. Right, so Ultramarines turn 4. Sicarius has joined the Terminators, and he's coming after the Demakaran. Oh, is he going to get that single instant death attack on him? Who knows, but it'll be lethal if he does. We're going to have to kill them Thunderhammers though, because they are going to inflict some serious damage on the Demakaran. He hasn't got Feel No Pain on him at the moment. So Graham's taking advantage of that, so it seems. The Dreadnought in the centre is probably going to be charging into this combat to get everything held up yet again. And the Storm Talon dropping to hover mode, looking to take out the Zone Throps. The Storm Raven looking to go for the Hive Guard, I think, as well. So Graham's prioritising his targets. Hopefully he's going to wreck quite a bit. Losing those Zone Throps and that Dimakaran will be brutal indeed. Right, so the Storm Talon in hover mode here, managing to cut down the wounded Zone Throp, but unfortunately not doing any damage on the Neurothrop there. Meanwhile, fire from the Storm Raven and the Ironclad brought the Hive Guard crashing to the floor. So they've been brought down. Sicarius even firing his plasma pistol in at the Dimakaran. The Dimakaran not having feel no pain, unfortunately, meant that he's now dropped to 5 wounds. That combat, it's going to be crucial. I don't know whether or not I'll be able to survive it with the sheer amount of attacks coming in from Sicarius and them Hammer-Nators. I'm hoping I can kill most of them before they swing. Right, so Sicarius charged in at the Dimakaran, and despite me having however many attacks, I think it was about 8 attacks due to Rampage as well, and the preferred enemy bubble from the Malanthrop, I only managed to get 4 wounds. Graham passing 2 of his inruns, and the Thunderhammers swinging back. Sicarius tried his Coup de Grace attack, and unfortunately, despite getting a hit, didn't wound. The Hammers, however, with 9 attacks between them, got 5 hits, and I only had 5 wounds due to Sicarius' plasma pistol, and Graham didn't roll a single one, so he smashed the Dimakaran apart with a Thunderhammer, scoring him an extra victory point. However, combat's in the centre, the Swarmlord alone cut the rest of the Marines down, and he's pissed. He's coming for Sicarius now. Right, so the Carnifex has come sideways. He's going to charge in at the Ironclad, and hopefully we can do some damage. We haven't done the Vector Strike from the Hive Crone yet, but the Swarmlord, the Gargoyles, and the Malanthrop are going to be charging in at these Terminators here. And this Carnifex will hopefully take down that Tech Marine. So as it stands, it is 8 points to 7 in the Tyranids' favour. So hopefully we can bring down the Dreadnought and potentially Sicarius and the Terminators. So the Vector Strike here on the Dreadnought, getting incredibly lucky and managing to cut him down. As a result, in the Psychic phase, the Neurothrop cast Catalyst on the Swarmlord, and the Swarmlord cast Paroxysm on Sicarius' squad here, minusing his weapon skill by 3. In the shooting phase, all of the Gargoyles shot in, but unfortunately did no damage at all. And Carnifex here shooting up at this in hover mode, doing no damage. Graham electing to jink. And the Hive Crone using his last missile, hitting and glancing the Storm Talon. Graham electing to jink again, and unfortunately missed that one, so that Storm Talon is on 1 hull point. So down here we're going to have a brutal combat on our hands again with the Swarmlord. The Carnifex here will be charging the Tech Marine. Right, so the Carnifex made it into combat with the Storm Raven and managed to destroy it with its Hammer of Wraths. Not too shabby at all. Meanwhile, down here, the Swarmlord elected to use Furious Charge on the Gargoyles. Thanks to preferred enemy and Paroxysm, the Gargoyles alone were hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s, re-rolling 1s. The preferred enemy granted from the Malanthrop finally coming into use, despite him being in most of my games now. The Swarmlord challenged Sicarius and unfortunately failed one of his inruns, bringing him down to the ground with that instant death. So that's got me another victory point there, and the mass weight of shots from the Gargoyles managed to bring the Terminators down, getting 10 wounds in, and Graham unfortunately rolling 2 1s. Meanwhile, the combat's down here, Carnifex charging in and tearing down the Tech Marine with his crushing claws. So, all in all, there has been devastation along the firebase. Right, so that is halfway through turn 5. Graham, however, being the Ultramarine he is, he's going to soldier on and try and score another victory point with the Storm Talon. I don't know where he's going to go for though, potentially a Neurothrope. Staying in hover mode, do you want to roll them now? Assault Cannon.
Yeah. Threes.
Twin linked. All hit. Wounding on 2s. Oh, that's 3. So we've got 3 3-ups. That's 1 wound through. Heavy bolter. 2 hits, twin linked, 3 hits, wounding on 3s. Oh, that's 2. And there we go. Killed the Neurothrope for another victory point, puts the score at 12 to 8. Right, so we've just added the points up there. Graham was the one who actually got first blood for killing the Hive Tyrant Warlord of mine. And I have Linebreaker, as you can see here as well. So the final score being 13-9. What a bloody and brutal game indeed. I seriously expected to take so much damage from all of them flyers. It's been really, really nice to have Graham's Ultramarines back on the channel as well. Hopefully we shall be seeing them a lot more in the coming months as well. We fancied a bit of a change, so that's why we played kill points today instead of objectives. It just seems that the Tyranid swarm advanced a little bit too quickly for Graham. I think if he'd had first turn and shot down a lot more of the stuff, I think his flyers coming in after me having 2 turns and already being in combat was the crucial thing. The thing with Tyranids, you need to first turn, you need to get up there as fast as you can, especially the way that I play. So, massive thank you for Graham coming down to Games of War to see him today. Please check out Games of War, and Graham will hopefully be appearing again very, very soon. But will the Ultramarines return, or will he be bringing a different force? See you next time. Graham.